After 6 long months of trying to get a journalist visa, I've finally gained access to Saudi Arabia to report on the reforms. We are being joined by government minders who will be keeping a very close eye on what we say and do. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is making some controversial changes to modernise this Islamic nation. He's calling it Vision 2030. Can you show me who our sales girls are? Hello. Hi. Are you girls the first women to work in the showroom?
Yes. She was the first and the second one.
And why cars?
I love cars.
Really?
Interesting. It's something new for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Prince is making headlines, getting women behind the wheel and into the workforce. Our mind is very enthusiastic.
Very.
Are you taking a picture? What do you think of women selling cars?
شو رايك؟ طبيعي.
Says it's not.
اتمنى انا بنتي تجي تبسط ولا تجي تشتغل معاهم.
But the message around these reforms is tightly controlled. Can you show me some of the cars? Take me for a tour. Tell me how it works, what cars you like, which ones you don't, which ones are the most popular. It all just feels a bit awkward. Which is this one?
The gold one.
Okay. So can you drive?
I can drive just a little bit. I can't drive.
Not yet. Do you have your license? Does it feel weird to be selling cars and not actually able to drive one yourself yet?
كمان شغلنا يعني يعتمد انه انت تعرفي ايش السيارة، ايش ميزاتها. يعني مو شرط انه انت تسوقي عشان تعرفي.
It's clear the reforms are still finding their feet.
Lifting the ban on driving has changed my life 180 degrees.
Really?
Not having to hire a full-time driver, and now it's just a matter of switching on your key, and then you're ready to go.
Unlike the car saleswomen who haven't yet learnt to drive, Hatoon Kadi was among the first to get a licence when the ban was lifted.
See. The thing I told you about.
Crazy drivers!
When the ban was lifted, Twitter was flooded with jokes about women driving.
Did people share videos of women mounting curbs?
Yes, yeah, and we will not deny this. It's okay. We mounted a pavement, better than mounting cars or mounting people. Pavement. It's okay. We won't hurt the pavement.
While driving has gained the most headlines, it's actually part of a much broader series of changes aimed at making women integral to the economy. The long-term goal is less dependence on oil.
In the past 2 years, we are living changes that sometimes we are not even able to breathe. Because if you want to shift into more human resources rather than natural resources, you need to utilize your 50% of the society, which is women. You have to. You don't have a choice anymore. You need to utilize us. So we are just part of 2030.
Right now, women only make up 22% of Saudi Arabia's workforce.
Now the challenge of finding a parking spot.
As part of his reforms, the Crown Prince wants to increase this to 30%. No longer restricted to education and medicine, Saudi women are embracing unconventional careers. And who's this?
He's my director.
Your director.
I don't know to say fortunately or unfortunately. It's something in between.
I'm the director here.
He thinks he is the boss.
Okay, let's walk. Look.
Hatoon isn't just navigating motorways. She's also taking on the male-dominated world of comedy.
The show is Noon and Niswa. So the letter Noon and Niswa, we use it to address women. Not to say that it's a women's show, because whenever you say women, it means makeup, it means fashion, it means cooking, but no. It was about the woman perspective.
And action.
Is it unusual to see a woman like Hatoon fronting her own program and writing her own program in Saudi?
Kinda yes. I think Hatoon, maybe you are the first woman came in the
Think
YouTube.
about first and last.
Her sketches are about everyday life for women, but put the spotlight on some important social issues.
ماني سامعتك خلاص شوية أكلمك.
Before the driving ban was lifted, this one went viral.
ترى أهم رجل في حياة المرأة السعودية هو السواق. ايوه لا تنصدم، اهم رجل في حياتنا هو السواق. ولو جلستي في البيت ترى عادي، في شخص مهم جدا مره في البيت لازم كمان تقدمي له فروض الولاء والطاعه. بسم الله هذه جابوه هنا.
ايش هذا؟
سكر. طيب
هذا كم دقيقة دحين؟ انت ان شاء الله هذا
طيب
مرة
خلاص
في
خارج
السيارة.
دقيقة.
انت اجلسوا هنا. انا بيرو.
And the
What are you trying to do with the show? Are you trying to change opinions and change perspectives? What would you say the mission is?
A lot of people they are asking me this. If I want to impose changes, I would say no. What I want to do is that I want to tackle the issues. I want to make them a topic for everybody to talk about. And if they decided to change, it's up to them.
You want to spark a discussion though, right?
That's it, exactly. Creating a discourse, creating a dialogue is just good. For me, it's just good. If women, if people, they are talking about the episode on WhatsApp, I'm really happy with that.
But this is a deeply religious country where Islamic clerics and sheikhs wield tremendous power. As the enforcers of Sharia law, I want to know their perspective on the changes taking place here. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? But with our every step being watched, I need government permission.
I've heard that our letter hasn't got a signature yet to film at the mosque, and I'm just wondering...
Before arriving, the government told me an interview with a sheikh would be sensitive.
So do you think is it going to be all right? Is it looking like there's any problems, or...
No, there's no problem. But the Sheikh wanted to be like officially request. He doesn't want to like just do it by himself, you know, and somebody is like the same way he did the request and all that. Just
Okay.
a big-
Paperwork. Okay. Bye-bye.
The interview is delayed because the sheikh wants to be sure the government is happy for him to speak. The reforms are peeling back some of the ways Sharia law reaches into women's everyday lives.
So, hey, how you doing? Me too.
Like any young 22-year-old, for Hind, the most exciting change is around fashion.
Do you feel like you have more options now in terms of fashion?
Oh, for sure. We have more option. We have local Saudi designers.
Hind is taking me to buy an abaya, the Islamic cloak women are required to wear in public.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Styles used to be tightly controlled by religious police. But now the Crown Prince has stripped them of their powers to arrest.
It's really a big change. In the back days, the religious police came to look for the abaya stores. If there's a store with a colorful abaya, they took it. They have the right to take it from the place. Yeah, because it's not allowed to wear colorful abaya.
So this whole store would have been black.
Yeah.
So how does it feel being able to wear that on the outside now?
You know, I feel more happier now. I feel colorful. I feel that I can express myself more with this color. This is my personality, you know.
Hind isn't just after colour. She also needs functionality because she's actually a personal trainer, a rare thing for women in Saudi.
Okay, so how do you pick a sporty abaya in here? What are you looking for?
So I always look for clothes abaya, just to make sure you are covered all the time.
Relaxing the rules around abaya styles means she can exercise in public.
Since now I can run, I can wear sports abaya, and it will really proper for running. I feel more comfortable, you know.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's
You
a
can
huge
run.
difference. Like something was holding me back, and now I'm free with no limits. You know, it's really a big change.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Believe me, it is. You will know how that also when you run with abaya.
Tonight, Hind has invited me to join Riyadh Urban Runners. Aged 14 to 40, they're the city's first female running club.
Okay, ladies, welcome to our first run of the season. We are Riyadh Urban Runners. If it's your first time, take your time. Don't worry about your speed. We just want you to feel comfortable running outdoors and enjoy it.
Yalla, girls, we're going. Come on, let's go.
Religious conservatives condemned women's sports for decades. So exercising in public means facing a huge cultural taboo.
So how are you feeling? You guys are the first time runners, right? Yes. How does it feel?
It feels amazing.
We feel very energized.
Come on, come on.
Yalla, have a good time.
I was worried about if someone would give me stares. Then like people are just supporting us and little kids, they were like cheering for me.
And so where would you normally run before here?
I didn't run anywhere. Usually I used to try to run on treadmills, but I end up too tired and too bored because it's indoors and I stopped.
Simply being allowed to run around the block represents a massive shift in attitudes here and how women are perceived.
Yay!
But there is still a very clear line these girls aren't yet comfortable to cross.
You guys are just running as a female-only group right now.
Yeah.
Why is that?
People or society still need time to accept mixed group or members. They need time.
Why is it important that change like this happens step by step and incrementally?
So if I come and run directly to you, you will be afraid. But if I come walking to you step by step, you won't feel that I'm against you or something. That's how we accept that rules or new changes, step by step, to accept it and to make the society accept it.
Okay, guys. I need They're not popular. Good balance.
As women expand their presence in public life, not everyone is happy. Some fear the kingdom is losing its Islamic principles under the new reforms.
Now we are entering King Khalid Mosque, the place the government does not apparently want us to film.
I'm trying again to interview the Sheikh. I want to know if he has any reservations about Vision 2030.
Just need to wait for our government minder to turn up to help us get inside. So are we allowed to film in here today? What's the vibe?
No, I wanted to check that because he scared me a little bit when he called me, honestly.
Who?
Our government minder tells us another foreign crew attempted to film the mosque without permission. He says there were serious repercussions for the minder involved.
I think it just shows you how nervous the government is right now about anybody filming anything slightly controversial that doesn't fit their party line.
Eventually we do get permission and make it into the mosque. But we're told we can't talk to anyone. All I can do is sit at the back of the room and watch.
This
gruesome new detail that affirmed missing US-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi is no longer alive.
Any likelihood that this type of thing could have happened without the Crown Prince's knowledge?
These are the kinds of questions I think a lot of people want to know the answer to.
Right now there is a huge story unfolding right across the world regarding Saudi Arabia. A Saudi journalist and dissident is missing after entering a Saudi Arabian embassy in Turkey. It just goes to show the real risk and the real danger in speaking out here in Saudi Arabia and having a voice and being critical of anything to do with the regime.
Suddenly, the whole world is aware just how dangerous it can be to criticise the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Several human rights groups warned me against contacting any activists living inside the kingdom for their own safety.
Saffa.
Hi.
How are you doing? Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. So back in Sydney, I find someone willing to question the reforms. Saudi-born artist, Saffa.
This is Hatoon Kadi. She's an academic and an important voice in women's activism. Lujain Hazloul. She's been imprisoned before for defying the driving ban.
So where are these individuals right now?
The last I've heard is that they've all been imprisoned.
Some of these activists were detained pushing for the very reforms the Crown Prince introduced. Saffa was also flagged by authorities when one of her artworks protesting guardianship laws went viral.
I knew it was radical, but I just didn't think it would be that influential. Oh, that's another good one, actually.
So Saffa, why are you doing this interview?
I've never actually done a television interview. I've always refused to do television interviews. And I just feel like all of these voices have been silenced, and if I don't speak out, who's going to speak out?
What does the case surrounding Jamal Khashoggi say to you?
It's close home to me because when I went to the Saudi embassy last year, I was questioned and interrogated by intelligence. And I actually wrote to the Australian immigration telling them that I couldn't believe that I walked out of there.
Saffa now lives in self-imposed exile, unable to return home. She fears being detained or slapped with a travel ban if she does.
There's no debate in Saudi. Anyone who says anything that is remotely against the government is being silenced. It says that this country has a long way to go in terms of freedom of speech. And if the West doesn't do something drastic, none of us are safe. So I feel like all of these reforms are just merely superficial to perhaps please the West, to get the West off the royals' back, to improve the image of Saudi abroad.
Back in Jeddah, Hatoon Kadi admits her life has changed for the better because of the reforms.
أنا كنت أعمل المدونة حقتي كان فيها شخصية أم وشخصية ولدين وسواق وشغالة ومديرة مدرسة.
هذا مرة حلو عارفة كيف؟
أيوة هذه اعترفت.
But I wonder how she manages to operate when it comes to comedy and finding safe material.
I would like that I created a voice of the modest woman. If I cross the line with the society, I will even lose this small space. So I would rather work within the boundaries and convey my message rather than trying to push the lines. It's too risky for me, and I am not this kind of person. I don't like to push boundaries.
3, 2, 1, and action.
But Hatoon does raise edgy topics.
Cut. Playback, please.
يلا كل عشان بكرة تكبر وتصير رجال، بكرة تصير ولي أمري. أضرب أمري يا حبيب أمك أنت. يا ناس على ولي أمري.
لا معلش اسمحوا لي، هذا حشيش فاخر. ليه؟ يعني دحين لو هو استخدم حقه ومنعني من السفر، هذا إيش معناته؟ معناته صار ما شاء الله تبارك الله كده غضيب والدين بالضوابط الشرعية.
like Saudi's lingering guardianship laws that still give men legal control over women in many aspects of life, like applying for a passport, travel, or even just exiting prison.
I approached the issue from the point of view of how the idea of guardianship is affecting us. So I don't usually approach it from, we need to change this, we need to do this, we need to do that. I bring you the case. I bring my daily, how this guardianship thing is affecting my daily life.
Are there no-go areas when it comes to comedy in Saudi Arabia?
Of course, for me, my self-imposed rules, no sex, no foul language, no politics, and no religion. Because I am a conservative person, and those are personal boundaries. But when it comes to my show, I like to think of myself as a normal housewife, as a normal citizen.
But there are strict laws around satire.
Uncut, amazing.
We are aware of them, they are not new. We knew about those rules since day one, and we know them, and we respect them.
I can't help but feel there's an elephant in the room when it comes to questions around freedom of speech.
We are... Wa alaikum assalam.
But it turns out it's just our government minder.
حضرتك من وزارة الإعلام؟ أنت المرافق معاهم؟ طب ما شفناك منور الله يديك العافية. طيب. He's from the Ministry of Information. No, Ministry of Media. Okay.
Hello again.
He said that he just wants to take pictures. Okay.
This is the world Hatoon is operating in. While YouTube has given her a platform, it would be naive to think the government isn't also watching. Back in Riyadh, I'm trying one last time to get the Sheikh to speak about his views on the reforms.
Don't we already have the permissions? Because we've got the permissions, yeah? We've got letters that say that we can do that.
The thing is, we sent them a letter, but the facility itself, King Khalid, the facility itself, did not reply from them back with a yes to Sheikh.
But as more details of Jamal Khashoggi's death come out, it seems nobody wants to risk criticising the regime. Now it's the mosque who is shutting things down. It's not just activists being locked up. Dozens of hardline clerics have also been imprisoned.
So I'm just messaging right now with our contacts at the mosque, and they've just replied saying that they can't because the foundation at the mosque has forbid them from speaking. And I asked if I could call them to chat this through with them a little bit more, and he's replied saying he might get into trouble, sorry. So all forms of communication have been chopped off, stopped, vetoed.
It's clear freedom of speech remains precarious.
Hello again, everyone's here.
From the inside, for young people like Hind, the smallest of changes cannot be underestimated.
I want to just send that message to the media that Saudi Arabia changed. Everyone think that Saudi Arabia, they don't have that freedom, they are in small spaces, but that's not the case. We had our freedom, but in our own corners.
Before I say goodbye, I'm invited to join Hind at a family gathering.
Beautiful daughter.
Amongst her mum and siblings, I find the most genuine signs of change.
In our family, it's like democracy. We all agree on one thing.
In the family decisions, I go for mom first. Yeah, she's the one who give me the permission, stuff like that. She been the mother, the father, and the sister, the friend. She been everything. She made her own money. She raised us. She just give us her life, her years. Yeah.
So your mum is actually pretty ahead of her own time, really.
Yeah.
بالعكس شعرنا فخورة فيها وبعدين هي يعني إنسانة يعني هي طموحة.
So how much the amount of fries you eat usually?
Oh, that's plenty. Thank you.
Not all families may be like hens, but hers is already leading the way to 2030.
I'm so glad that I grew up in this country. In these 2 years, a lot of things changed, you know. It wasn't really difficult, but it's easier now, you know. So I'm really glad. I'm happy for these changes. I support it. Yeah.